When routine becomes the unexpected.
What is it?
When the unexpected turns deadly.
Put the landing gear up. What? Put the landing gear up.
Landing gear up.
This is the story of Back Air Flight 2100. December the 27th, 2019. It's a misty morning in the city of Almaty in Kazakhstan as Back Air Flight 2100 is getting ready at Almaty International Airport for its domestic flight from Almaty to Nur Sultan. Back Air is a low-cost airline that mostly operates domestic flights in Kazakhstan with its uniform fleet of Fokker F-100s. They are very reliable and easy to maintain. On today's morning flight, there are 93 passengers, some commuting to work in Nur Sultan. They are served by 5 crew members. The Fokker F-100 that they are flying on today is 23 years old and was unpainted recently, but because of unknown reasons, it was not fully painted into its full livery colors. Being an advanced airliner, it comes with a glassed cockpit, allowing 2 pilots to fly it. In command of this flight and in the left seat, 58-year-old Captain Marat Gonyavich Moratbayev, and on the right seat is 54-year-old co-pilot Mirjan Gyonulovich Modokulov. They are both highly experienced pilots at Back Air. Almaty is surrounded by mountains to the south and east. Because of this, sunlight doesn't reach it during the morning hours. The flight is running a little bit late, but finally, at 7:10 local time, Back Air Flight 2100 starts its taxi to runway 05 right for takeoff. It's here that we join the crew as they get ready for takeoff. Before we join the crew, here at Minutes from Disaster, we like giving you high quality videos, and we cannot do it without your support. And the way you can support us is by subscribing to this channel. We want to do great things, and we cannot do it without you. So come on, help a brother out. Thank you.
After start checklist, please.
After start checklist. Anti-icing.
Not required.
Engine panel.
Checked and all green.
Alert lights.
All out.
Flaps.
0 set.
Fuel levers.
1 and 2 open.
Trim.
2.530.
SAP.
On.
Auto brake.
Auto.
After start checklist complete.
Ground Astana Lane 671 ready for taxi.
Astana Lane 671. Taxi to runway 05 right behind the Back Air.
Behind the Back Air to runway 05 right.
Advice cabin.
Cabin crew to your seats.
Back Air 2100, contact tower.
Contact tower. Back Air 2100.
Blaster 397, winds at 100 degrees 4 knots. Cleared for takeoff 05 right. Cleared for takeoff Blaster 397.
Tower. Back Air 2100 with you.
Back Air 2100, hold short 05 right.
Hold short 05 right. Back Air 2100.
Before takeoff checklist, please.
Before takeoff checklist. Flight instruments.
Check.
FMP.
Set.
Radar and TCAS.
Radar off. TCAS will go soon to Tower I.
Brake temperature.
Check.
Flight controls.
Check.
Lift dampers.
On.
Briefing.
Has been done.
Before takeoff checklist complete.
Check.
Back Air 2100, winds at 100 degrees 4 knots. Cleared for rolling takeoff 05 right.
Rolling takeoff. Back Air 2100.
Lights.
Lights on.
Cleared for takeoff checklist.
Cleared for takeoff checklist. Configuration.
Check.
Cabin crew.
Advised.
APU.
Off.
Cleared for takeoff checklist complete.
Copy.
Tower Astana Lane 671 with you.
Astana Lane 671, hold short 05 right.
Hold short Astana Line 671.
All right. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Take off.
Engine stable. Takeoff thrust set. $80 knots. 100 knots. V1. Rotate.
What is it? What is it?
I can't see anything. Maybe it's the stabilizer.
I don't know.
Abort! Captain, abort!
Ah, no. What are you doing? Don't do that. Clam. Come on, Clam.
Don't think.
Come on.
To the right! Go back to the right! We are running out of runway.
I know. Come on. Put the landing gear up.
What?
Put the landing gear up.
Landing gear up.
Clam. Clam.
We are dropping.
Don't think.
Slow down. Slow down.
You come.
We are sliding.
It's refusing to turn to the left.
Slow down. Slow down.
Turn off engines. Turn off engines.
Turning off.
Turn off engines. Shit.
At 7:22 local time, Beck Air Flight 2100 overruns the runway, veering to the right and smashes into a concrete fence and impacts a two-story building, breaking the plane into two parts. Miraculously, a fire doesn't start and there was no family in the two-story building as it was still under construction. Some passengers managed to get out unhurt, but unfortunately, some lose their lives. Of the 98 people on board, 85 managed to survive, but 12 people plus the captain are fatally killed. The co-pilot manages to survive but dies 24 days later. It's the third worst accident involving a Fokker F-100. The next day, President Kassym-Jomart Tokayev declared the 28th to be a national day of mourning. Beck Air's Fokker F-100s are grounded until the cause of this crash is found. So why did this crash happen? So far we only know that something prevented this plane from gaining altitude, and there are three factors that can do that. 1. The flaps. 2. The weight. 3. The speed. And finally 4. Icing. Let's begin with factor number 1. Flaps. There have been a lot of crashes that have happened because some crew forgot to put the flaps. After reading the flight data recorder, we found out that the pilots did not put any flaps and left it at 0. To other airliners, it's very bad to do so. But on the Fokker F-100, thanks to its special wing design, it allows the pilots to take off with it on a flap setting of 0, depending on the weight. So flaps didn't do anything in this crash. So let's go to factor number 2, the weight. If the plane was overloaded and over the maximum takeoff weight, then the plane will be too heavy for the wings to generate enough lift to get it into the sky. But after examining the aircraft manifest, it was discovered that the plane was under the maximum takeoff weight, which means weight had nothing to do in this crash. So let us go to factor number 3, the speed. In order to lift off from the ground, the plane needs to reach a certain speed depending on the weight, which will allow the wings to develop enough lift to get the plane in the air. On this flight, with the weight and the weather, that speed was 147 knots. To get to this speed, the engines need to provide enough thrust. So, did the engines not provide enough thrust? After reading the flight data recorder, we found out that the engines were working perfectly. In fact, the plane reached a speed more than 147 knots during its final moments. So this theory is out. So, the final factor, 4. Icing. The Fokker F-100's wings are a clean design. They are good for cruising but vulnerable at low speeds if they are contaminated with ice. When a wing gets covered in ice, the ice disrupts the airflow and adds weight on the plane, destroying the lift, making the plane not fly. A lot of crashes have happened because of this. So if there was ice on the plane, then it was impossible for the plane to fly. It was winter time, so de-icing was routine on every flight here, especially during their night and morning operations. So icing is ruled out. Wait a minute, did the pilots de-ice before the flight? After researching, we found out that the pilots only de-iced the elevators and never de-iced the wings because they saw no ice on the wings. This was testified by the co-pilot before he died. Was there really no ice on the wings? After researching even more, we found out that the plane had been sitting at the airport for 2 days in the cold winter weather. Ice might have built up a small, invisible layer on the wings. Pilots are trained to detect this layer of ice, which can fool anyone if they are not properly trained. After researching even more, we were shocked to know that back air pilots had a habit of not inspecting the plane to see if everything was in order and to see if the wings were cleared before taking off. We also found out that back air didn't train their pilots on winter operations on the Fokker F100. So the majority of pilots at back air didn't know how to operate the Fokker F100 in winter times, which means some didn't know how to detect the small layer of ice on the wings. So, with this information, did the pilots really inspect the plane and saw no ice on the wings? Or did they assume that there was no ice on the wings? That we will never know. But the presence of ice on the wings makes us understand how this plane crashed. So with factor number 4, let us see how the chains of events unfolded. On the 25th of December at 4:00 local time in the morning, the Fokker F100 lands at Almaty airport and is parked at a stand, not knowing that this will be its final resting place. For 2 days, it is left untouched. It is supposed that during these 2 days at night, ice starts to build up, forming a layer of ice on the wings. The weather stays the same for the whole 2 days. Then on the 27th of December at 6:50 local time, workers start getting the plane set for the doomed flight. As the crew prepares the flight, we don't know if the pilots perform an inspection on the plane, but they decide to de-ice only the elevators and not the wings. But now we know that a level of ice was on the wings. At 7:20 local time, the plane lines up and begins its takeoff run. At a speed of 147 knots, the captain pulls up and the nose starts to rise. But because of the ice, little lift is created by the wings, causing a stall on the right wing, making the plane fall back with the left wing and tail scraping the runway. The pilots become confused, not knowing what is going on. The co-pilot suggests aborting the takeoff and reduces the engine power to idle. At where they were, if they had aborted the takeoff, they could have survived the crash with the plane still intact. But with the plane past the V1 speed, the captain thought that aborting would be too dangerous and advanced the engine to full power. But the plane remained on the runway. When they were about to reach the end of the runway, the plane miraculously started climbing. The captain immediately ordered the co-pilot to retract the landing gear. But with ice on the wings, that small lift that was given to the plane disappears, stalling the plane, making it drop to the ground with its belly going off the runway. Because of the momentum it had, the plane starts veering to the right of the runway. At the last moment, the crew tried to switch off the engines, but it was too late as the plane impacted the fence straight into the 2-story building. We still don't know if ice was truly on the wings. If ice was not on the wings, what do you think caused this crash? Tell us in the comment section. We would love to hear from you. After the crash, the Prime Minister of Kazakhstan promised to give all the victims' family each $8,600. But up to today, some families have not yet received their payments. On the 28th of January 2020, Kazakhstan's aviation authorities found a number of severe violations of air safety in Back Air's operation and revoked its license to operate. Then later on the 17th of April 2020, Back Air ceased to operate and never flew again. May the lost souls rest in peace. Thank you so much for watching my video till the end. If you like this kind of videos, then you can support me by subscribing to my channel and hitting that like button. More subscribers means more videos coming out sooner. I cannot do it without you. Again, thanks for watching and subscribing. If you want to watch another video of Minutes from Disaster, you can click them on your screen right now. See you on the next one. Bye.